Welcome back to another episode of the Hotel Fit Show. I'm Leo Amarim, and I'm here to help you improve your physical and mental health around your crazy hospitality schedule. Guys, I hope everyone is having a fantastic Wednesday. I'm definitely having a great Wednesday today. It's been a good and productive day. For those who are new here, welcome to the Hospitality Fitness community. This is the Wednesday Masterclass, the best masterclass there is on fitness for individuals who work in the hospitality industry. And just before I start, we're starting a mini challenge next week, a 5-day challenge program. So if you want to lose at least 5 pounds in 5 days and you want to do it with other people and with my help, it's free to join. You'll have access to a workbook with all the tools that you need to lose at least 5 pounds that week. In those 5 days, I'm going to be live guiding you through the challenge and doing that with you. Most of you guys mentioned that one of your main issues is lack of accountability when it comes to your fitness. So jump in the challenge, get your year started, get some momentum, start winning big time, and join other winners. Let's do this, guys. And if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, I'll leave the link below for you to sign up. And just before we dive into this masterclass for the main subject, I want to ask you, do you work at a hotel, at a restaurant, at a bar? What kind of hospitality establishment do you work in? I know it's quite varied in this group, so I'm actually really curious to see the responses. If you can let me know in the comments below. And while you're doing that, I'm going to dive in the main topic of this live. I'll have a resource for you at the end of this live for anyone who attends this live or replay and interacts or comments or likes with this video. I'll send you that guide over. It's a very useful one. So this Sunday, I've made a poll with you guys here in the Hospitality Fitness community where I asked you, how much time do you spend daily on social media? And the reason why I made that poll was basically to confirm what I kind of knew already from asking clients about this and from talking to people here on Facebook about being time efficient and what to do with your time and whatnot. And I know for a fact that most of you guys that don't have much time for anything else other than work, your biggest time wasters are usually two things, which is road traffic and social media. Okay. Now, there's not much I can do to help you out with traffic, but I can definitely help you out optimizing your time, and I can help you taking care of that social media, controlling your social media, and being a little bit more responsible with your time that you use there. And so basically the results of this poll were 80% of you guys said that you spend over 1 hour per day on social media. And this doesn't seem like much. I mean, it's just 1 hour per day. A day has 24 hours, so that's no big deal. But over 1 hour per day, it's over 7 hours per week, which is still not a problem. If you think that a week has 168 hours, what is 7 hours per week is not a problem. You know, when does it become a problem? When you say that you don't have time to dedicate to your health, for example, then it becomes a problem because social media is not as important as your health, like health, social media. And so if you spend 7 hours per week on social media, spend 7 hours per week on Facebook and 0 hours dedicating to anything that's health related, what does that tell me about your priorities? And so is your problem the lack of time, or is your problem the lack of discipline? And the same thing when we talk about, spending time with family, for example, and spending time doing things that are actually beneficial for your well-being, doing some kind of hobby. I don't necessarily mean that you would use that time directly doing something like directly correlated to your health, but actually something that is overall beneficial for you in terms of well-being. And so the question that that you need to ask yourself is social media and reels and cat videos your hobby? Or you can actually try and cut down that time and do something useful for you, like reading a book about something that you're learning or finding another hobby. Because, think with me. Imagine you find a new hobby, and that hobby is, let's say, fishing. And to do that around your busy schedule, you obviously have to set times and dates that you want to go fishing, and designate times for it, right? Otherwise, you won't be consistent with it, just like everything else. So if I told you that you could be fishing for those 7 hours every week, you would have thought, well, that's great. There's a lot of fish that I'm going to be fishing, but I'll never have time for that. That's what you would say. Like if I told you, find a new hobby like fishing and spend 7 hours every week on that. That's what you would. That's what your reaction would look like. And if I told you that you'd be exercising for 7 hours every week, your reaction would be even worse. You'd say, I will never have time for that. And that's maybe some of the reasons why you're in this group. But you say that you never have time for that unless you'd be retired. But in fact, my clients, when they start their workouts, their workouts are no longer than 30 minutes because they're time efficient. And basically, most of my clients that started, they are either beginners or they are people who have stopped for a long time. And so the difficulty also like helps with that, obviously the complexity of it. But basically, in total, they work out 3 times a week, and that's 90 minutes. So that's 1.5 hours a week that they spend towards their health. And so that's way less than half of what a lot of people spend in their social media. So this thing is not about time. It's something else. And my goal with this live stream is actually to simply make you aware of this so you can start using social media as a tool and not so much as a hobby. And for that, I put together a really nice resource to send you after this. Because if you down that time, let's say by 50%, you'll still have 3.5 hours a week to dedicate on being on social media, which is already a pretty decent amount of time. But you also have 3.5 hours to dedicate to something else that's good for you. And now a very important thing here is also the blue light, okay? Most people look into their social media in the evening before they go to sleep, when they're home, okay? The problem is your smartphone emits blue light, and blue light keeps your brain excited and awake. And so each time you are on social media until late, you get less sleep, because that's obvious. And what happens the day after a night where you have poor sleep? It's not great. It's not great because you're not as productive. You are more vulnerable to stress. You have more food cravings. You are in a worse mood. And so you have all the reasons basically to try and minimize that time. Even more reasons than the ones that I mentioned in the beginning. And look, I get it. I really do. I went through that myself. It's very difficult, and it's designed to be difficult for you to not to spend that time in there, because most times what happens to you is like, oh, let me just check Instagram. Oh, this video sounds interesting. Let me see this video. And all of a sudden, boom, you're dragged into a rabbit hole, and there goes 57 minutes of your life. And that time is time lost that you could have spent working on your dreams and doing some exercise or doing something awesome with your family. And so myself personally, as I said, I've been dragged to that rabbit hole many times. And even these days, I'm also vulnerable to that, because I think everyone, as more disciplined as they are, they will still be dragged by those algorithms. And if I'm tired and not thinking about anything, I'll start scrolling through football videos and cars, because the algorithm knows exactly what you like to keep you hooked. And these apps are designed to make you hooked. There's no doubt about it. That's how they make money. They capitalize on the time that you spend in that. And so, question for you: do you feel like you spend excessive time scrolling through social media more than you actually need? And if the answer is yes, let's have a look on how we can solve the problem, because I got great stuff for you today. And I remember when I used to feel like the first times that I started noticing that I would waste a ton of time on social media myself, I started doing the maths, and initially I was like, why the heck do I spend so much time here? And I went all self-discipline. I'm like, no, I am closing this app. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm closing the window. I'm not going to scroll and watch useless videos. And 5 minutes later, there I was again. And I would be like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I don't even know why I'm scrolling. And so I started basically uninstalling the Instagram app every morning, and that helped me. And also Facebook and LinkedIn, I've done the same. And because I used to use those apps very little back in the days, I used to basically install them like once or twice a week just to check out notifications or respond to a message that I would receive. Like, for example, on LinkedIn, you receive the email notifications if someone sends you a message. So I would just install it. And this is before I found out that I actually have a button on your smartphone. If you have an Android, you can pause the app. And basically that's before I started doing that. But basically in this resource, and I'm going to send it to you after you'll have you'll have a lot of softwares that you can use, and basically things that you can use to help you out. But I basically, even after doing that, I still had the problem that I would be on my laptop and I would be scrolling through the feed on my laptop because I would open social media. Like, I'm distracted, I'm here, let's have a look at the news. Oh, what's going on here? And you just click Facebook. I'm not even thinking, and you almost unconsciously, you open that up. Anyway, guys, these apps have literally teams with dozens of people all trying to figure out how to get you addicted to those apps and how to get you to have more screen time. And this doesn't happen by accident. So just be aware of that. And now let's go straight to the point with some quick solutions for you. Okay. The first one is decide how much time you're going to spend per day on social media. So you can start having an intention with how you use it, and you can actually start using it more like a tool, and avoid being dragged through that rabbit hole. The second thing is when you're not supposed to use the app, if you have an Android, pause the app. You just click it for a few seconds. There's going to be two options. You can you can click pause the app, and that's it. Okay. I'm not sure how it works with iPhones. I don't know if they have that feature, but if they don't, you can still uninstall it. Either way, you'll see, like, on my list of resources on things that you can do, you'll find their software in there that can allow you to, like, help you out with that. The next thing is turn off your notifications, especially like silly notifications, like person X like your post, and you get distracted, you click on it, and all of a sudden you're inside the app already watching videos, and there goes 20 minutes of your time. So to avoid those kinds of silly things, just go to your settings and stop those notifications, because I do that with my emails and messages, for example, because there's a time and place where I check and respond to emails, and the same thing with messages on social media. There's a time and a place for that. If there's something like important or urgent that people need to reach out to me, they have my my personal phone number. And if you spend a lot of time on your laptop and you have that same problem that you open Facebook and LinkedIn and then you're scrolling through the feed, there's actually this really awesome Chrome extension that's called the Newsfeed Eradicator. When I first found out about it, it was a client that mentioned it to me, and it's been tremendously helpful because, for example, on my daily work, I spend like 8 hours on my laptop usually. Depends on the day, sometimes more than 8. What happens is that I do some work on social media, and so I very easily get dragged into that. And so this Newsfeed Eradicator Chrome extension, what it does is you have a list of all the social medias, and you can choose to deactivate them for a period of time, or like indefinite. And basically I can choose, okay, stop the Facebook feed for like 10 minutes. And then for those 10 minutes, I can't see anything. If I need to search for something specific, I can still use the site, but I cannot see the feed, and therefore I don't get lost in scrolling. And so that is one thing. It's very useful for YouTube as well, because, for example, I open YouTube to put some music to listen to while I'm working, but YouTube gives you all these exciting suggestions about videos that you feel excited about watching. And so it's very difficult to stay out of that one. And Newsfeed Eradicator, it's pretty much always on for me. Like, if I need to go on YouTube to choose a lo-fi chill for work music or jazz for work, then I can go and just search for whatever I want, or if I need to look for something specific. Otherwise, no newsfeed, no suggestions. And Leo 1, social media 0. There's like other apps that you can use to kind of monitor your time that you spend within the apps. I'll have that on the resource as well. Check that out. One of my favorite things, just to wrap up, I mentioned this before, doing a digital detox 1 or 2 hours before bed every evening is awesome, because basically you simply put your phone, you respond to your last text of the evening, you put your phone charging in one corner of your room or in your living room, you set up your alarms. As long as it's in a place where you don't feel tempted to reach out and check your messages and stuff, you keep it in there until the next day. And basically you dedicate that time to do old school activities, like getting the gym bag ready for the next day, doing your laundry, reading a book, and basically that time it will really help you have a better sleep. And that's one of the things that I do every night. And so you get a better sleep, the next day you have more energy and you feel more rested, you have a more productive day, you're happier, you have more aptitude for exercise, and it's awesome in every level. So and it's not very difficult. And to wrap up, I would like you to think your time is your most valuable asset. You can't get it back. You can't get back wasted time. And this time that you spend on social media looking at useless stuff, that is time that you're stealing from yourself. And most importantly, your future, and your future with people that you love. Because for every hour that you waste looking at that small screen is 1 hour that you're not working on improving towards a better future. And you want a better future. I know you do. So your next step is to get this resource that I'm going to send you if you interact with this video, and implement it. Don't just listen and read information, okay? Otherwise, it's useless, as you know. Implement this advice on your own routine, adapt it to you. If you need to uninstall Instagram when you get home, by all means do it. It's not going anywhere. Do it for your mental health. Do it for a superior version of you. And that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, drop me a thumbs up. If you attended and interacted with this video live or replay, I'm going to send you that resource that I mentioned. It's a social media cleansing toolkit, so it's very useful. You also got the 5-day challenge coming up next week, so make sure you sign up for that to start moving your life forward. All right, keep being awesome, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Thank you so much for listening, and if you found this content valuable, you can find additional help for free by joining the Hospitality Fitness community on Facebook at thehotelfit.com or facebook.com/hospitality fitness community. There's a ton of cool stuff happening, as well as a massive amount of free resources and information. So join us at the Hospitality Fitness community.